So, Jason Wright, really good to see you. You know, you and I were reminiscing a little bit before we came on to do this about the last time we talked. It was the summertime. You were 2 or 3 days into your job. A lot has changed in the world. A lot changed that week. As you think back over these past few months, what are you going to remember?
Mm. First of all, thanks for having me on. And if I think back to those first couple weeks, on my third day, the Milwaukee Bucks walked off of the court in solidarity with social justice causes. And there's a ripple effect through all of our organizations to figure out how we give voice to our players on an important topic like this, how we put a structure around it that is unambiguously good and nonpartisan, but meaningful and impactful. And if I think back to what's happened since then, the initiatives we've and others have had, I think things have shifted in how athletes and the broader corporate sphere is empowered to make change on this particular topic in society. And then I think, the other thing is we're having a pretty good season, pretty good into the season here, and that's exciting as well.
All right, we're going to get to football, but I do want to go back to something you said about social justice and empowerment, because I think it's really important. And as you say, you've taken some steps. The NFL, it feels like, is catching up in some ways. Do you agree with that? And what's your role in that? What is the Washington football team's role in ensuring that the NFL becomes a place where the players especially do feel empowered to speak their truth?
Yeah, I think I'll be a bit of a league office apologist on this, because I actually think that back in the bold moves by Cap and Eric Reed and others years ago, the social justice conversation, and I think it was a good thing, was thrust upon the league. And then you could argue the league was catching up and trying to figure it out. I actually think the league is thinking about this proactively. And the reason that NFL teams were able to give players a voice in the way that we were able to is because there was already a structure and space in place from the league office on down for teams to actually embrace this as a priority, as a good thing, as a positive. It then allowed us, Coach and I, and leaning heavily on Coach, because this was a player-driven thing, to really craft the strategy that we wanted to do here. And out of that have flowed a set of initiatives that we've done in-house that have come from the minds of the guys. Our big push on voting, where we provided our stadium as a super polling site, partnering with Jose Andres and a World Central Kitchen to provide food for people in line, water for people in line, Lyft to get people to the polls. We did it big, but that came from the mind of the guys, because for them, social justice started with people being able to raise their voice and be heard.
And when you see an announcement like you saw out of Cleveland this week with their name change as well, does that sort of signal to you that, maybe finally as a country we're starting to deal with some issues that maybe we should have dealt with a while ago?
I think every decision is idiosyncratic, right? Like our situation is different than the Cleveland baseball franchises. I don't know what to call them yet. You have to tell me, my guys there, you have to tell me what to call you. But Cleveland's decision there and others that will face that decision, because I think you have to engage directly with the communities that are most affected, whether that's Native, Indigenous, Indian communities, or the broader set of your fan base and folks like that. It's an idiosyncratic decision, because I think each situation is different, and those that are most affected by the decision need to have equity in how that's made. But I do think they're doing it in the right way. And I think they're being deliberate, they're being thoughtful, they're engaging their fan base. I saw what they're talking about doing. It's exactly the right way to do things.
Right.
And insofar as our experience can inform theirs, they know we're a resource to them, but we're all on this journey together. And so it's hard for me to say that there's a hard and fast rule across every team, because every name resonates differently and every team is in a different context and the strength of their relationship with these communities. And so I'd hate to paint with a broad brush.
Right. One massive element that everyone's facing is the COVID crisis. How do you assess the league and the sport's ability to sort of plow through this? It has not been a clean, necessarily, evolution here, but how would you describe it as someone who is operating a team?
Yeah. Again, I'm going to sound like a league homer here, but if if I think back to the challenges that other sports leagues faced, the NBA, curtailing the season and moving to a bubble with much smaller rosters and a bit less complexity, while there have been hiccups along the way, which were completely expected, they have been they've been much less pronounced than I expected coming in. So if I were to grade how the league and teams have executed on this, it has to be an A. The infrastructure has been set up well. We have the best technology. I got the tech right here, the contact tracing tech that allows us to immediately know who's had close contacts if there's even a whiff of an issue. So I think we are incredibly set up for success, and it's gone well. And I think we'll be able to carry that out for the rest of the year.
Hey, Jason Wright, great to catch up with you. Happy holidays. Good luck with the rest of the season. Hope to catch up with you early in 21.